yeah, what is up, everybody? Live, back in action. It is the Power 32 podcast. It has been a minute. Football season is back. Here we go. 49ers, my team. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a quick podcast, though, because on Saturday, I got a special one for you, man. Pat Williams, former Buffalo Bill and Minnesota Vikings All-Pro, is coming on the show. We're going to talk everything, all divisions, every team. We're going to go through the playoffs, who's going to win the divisions, who's going to be the MVP, who's making the Super Bowl, the whole deal coming up Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Me and Pat Williams are going to be awesome. Today, I want to talk to you about fantasy freaking football. We're all doing it. We love it. I mean, millions worldwide, man. It's freaking awesome. I love it. I've been doing mock drafts like crazy, trying to see what's up. So I got 2 leagues this year. Normally I'm doing like 3 or 4, but I'm chilling out a little bit. Got some dough involved, obviously, so it's more exciting and everything. But I wanted to share with you guys my strategy because, not to brag or anything, pat myself on the back, but I have been making the championship pretty much year after year. Yes, there's been some 3rd, 4th, even a 5th place sprinkled here and there, but ask anybody, man. I'm in the championship. I'm either winning it or runner-up. And it's because of my draft. It's my strategy. Yes, waiver wire is important. We can talk about that a little bit later, but I got 7 rules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 of them for you. And we're going to go over them right now. These are the draft strategy rules to do when you are having your fantasy football draft. Whether you got 10, 12, or 14 teams, it does not matter. Here's what you have to do. Number 1, stock up on the running backs and wide receivers. You must do it, especially in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Okay? I'm going to get to the reasons why it's 1, 2, and 3 in just a minute. But you got to get these guys. In rounds 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 if you want to get 2 wideouts, 2 running backs, 3 running backs, 1 wideout. And also in the later rounds, if you get your quarterback, your tight end, and we'll talk about those guys in a minute, rounds 7 through 12, 8 through 12, like crucial, man, really crucial. You want to get running backs, wide receivers, and you know what? You want the young guys too. Those are the guys who are playing. Those are guys who are playing their hearts out, that they want to, not just obviously, that they made the team, rookies or second-year guys, sophomores, that they belong and they want to be the number 1 guy. Those are the guys that are really going out most hard. Not to say that other players aren't playing hard, veterans, don't get me wrong, but that's where it's at. So you want to draft young dudes like, for 2nd round, Garrett Wilson, like a no-brainer, especially now Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Like, these are guys that you want. Amon-Ra St. Brown coming in now, his 3rd or 4th year in the league. Jared Goff tossing him the ball. These are just a few examples of young guys that you want on your team. Yeah, you want Justin Jefferson. He's only in his 4th year. Same thing with Jamar Chase. These guys, you want him. Tyreek Hill, been in the league for a long time. He may be my number 1 dude that you want a wide receiver, to be honest. That offense is high-powered as long as Tua stays healthy. You know what? Even when he's not, Tyreek Hill is amazing. I mean, he can make a lot of quarterbacks so great. So you want to take him. I'm thinking, honestly, he may be your top pick at wide receiver. But nevertheless, stock up in the wide receivers and running backs. That is the meat of your team right there. And those are the guys who get injured a lot. So you want to have a lot of guys to back up on and have a lot of, people to revolve around. Anyway, let's get to number 2. All right. Don't rush to get a quarterback. Especially this year, don't rush to get Patrick Mahomes. He is the best quarterback in the NFL, don't get me wrong, but we're talking fantasy football. And besides Travis Kelce, there's not much else going on. Yeah, you can say the same thing happened last year without Tyreek Hill. Granted, true. I'm with you there on that one. I understand. But it's Kadarius Toney this year. He's your top guy. And Sky Moore, who wears 24, which is a weird freaking number for a wide receiver. But, they lost Juju Smith. They lost McCall Hardman. Yeah, they got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. But I don't know. Maybe they'll become a more run-centric. Again, they're going to be awesome. Patrick Mahomes is going to be great. But don't rush to get a quarterback. Don't even rush to get Josh Allen. Don't even rush to get Lamar Jackson, who I think is probably going to be the number 1 overall this year, along with another one who's really sneaky. Justin Fields, man. I mean, maybe he's not as sneaky anymore because he lit it up last year. He was on fire. I had him on my team. Dude was legit. So when he got hurt, it was a killer. Anyway, you want to have these guys. Don't get me wrong. It's great. And if you can grab one in the 4th round, that's fine. But don't do it in the 1st or the 2nd round. Please don't do that. Don't get Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen in the 2nd round because you know what? You can get real value later on from guys even like Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow's going a little bit later. Dare I say, even a Derek Carr, who may not be your number one choice, granted, or a Jared Goff, they're not your number one choice, but there are plenty of guys you can get later. A Dak Prescott, who's got CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks to throw to this year, along with Tony Pollard, who likes to catch the ball out the backfield. So that's something that you want to think about. And another thing with the tight ends, rule number 3, try to get a top-tier tight end. You want to do that. Look, if you can grab one in the 3rd round, look, Travis Kelce is going to be gone by the 1st or 2nd round. So if you really want him, go get him. I don't advise that you do that, again, for the reasons I also just said regarding the Kansas City Chiefs offense this year. Kelce's still great, don't get me wrong, but I think that people are jumping on him a little bit too early. TJ Hawkinson's a guy I like, Mark Andrews, I like George Kittle. After that, I think there's a fall off. Then you got your Darren Wallers, you got Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, dudes like that. And that's fine if you get them later. David Njoku. That's fine if you get those guys later on. It really is okay. And even a guy like Dalton Kincaid, who's a rookie coming in for Buffalo, is a dude you may want to look at. I think he's going to be heavily involved. You may not want to start him right away, but, to have him as a backup, things may look really good. So listen, try to get a top-tier tight end if you can. One of those dudes I said, rounds 3 or 4, 5 at the latest. But if those top 4 are gone, then just wait for the other dudes and keep stocking up in those wide receivers and running backs. And if you can get a top-tier quarterback, go ahead in round 4 or 5. But again, stay away in round 1 or 2. So those are rules 1, 2, and 3. Let's go to 4. This is just simple. Draft a kicker last, please. Draft a kicker last. That's it. It's just luck. It's all luck is what happens. Yeah, you got your good kickers, your medium kickers, your bad kickers, whatever. Justin Tucker is the best kicker in the NFL, but he is not necessarily going to be the number 1 fantasy kicker just because he's the most accurate. It's about opportunity. It's about chance. It's about a team not being able to put the ball in the end zone. Look at those kind of teams and say, you know what? I'll take one of those guys in the last round, not the second to last round, the last round. The last round. If you draft a kicker before the last round, you just don't know what the hell you're doing. It makes no freaking sense. And that goes right into rule number 5, which is the same sort of thing. Defense. Yes, defense is important, no doubt about it. But you know how unpredictable it is for a defense on any given Sunday to play any team? I mean, look, the Texans can play the Chiefs, and they can have 7 sacks, Houston. They can have a couple of interceptions. They could just have a day, So I'm not saying you're going to go ahead and pick Houston. My point is that don't rush to go get Dallas, Baltimore, Philly, teams, San Francisco, who I love. Obviously, that's my team. But don't rush to go do that. There's no reason for it. It's the luck of the draw. And you know what? Most of you guys, for the most part, if not everybody, is going to be interchanging their defense anyway. You're going to sit a team because they're playing a really good offense like Buffalo or Cincinnati, whatever it is, Philadelphia. And you're going to say, you know what? I don't want to start my defense this week. You're going to start a different one. You're not going to want to drop your bench players. You're going to drop your defense because you know what? They haven't been performing that great anyway. I think the only defense you could probably really count on is the Patriots. Year in and year out, those guys are great. So you know what? Maybe take them around earlier than the second and last round. No, no, not really. Don't. It's just stupid. It's a waste of time. Let me get a drink of water. Hold on. All right. That's rule number 5. Rule number 6. Draft wide receivers whose defense is no good. Why? Because they're going to be playing from behind, and they're going to be getting the ball thrown to them a lot. And in garbage time when they're down by 2, 3, 4 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, defenses are going to let them throw up and down the freaking field, no problem. So you want to get those guys, but not first, later. That's what I'm talking about in rounds 7 through 12. Wide receivers who, again, play with defenses who are not that good or play, again, in a high-powered offense. I mean, a guy like Quentin Johnson, who's a rookie we haven't seen yet, is probably going to get drafted in most leagues. That's a team that that's a guy that you probably want to look at. I mean, there's a few guys like that, obviously, and, we can go over that at a different time. But the point of the matter is that, yeah, in those later rounds, you want to look for guys like that. Maybe guys on Jacksonville, like, Christian Kirk is somebody you want to draft a little early. Calvin Ridley's going a little bit earlier than I think he should. Don't get me wrong, he's a good wide receiver, but he hasn't played in 2 years, and he's on a brand new team, and there are other options over there. I don't know. So don't rush on Calvin Ridley. He's another guy that I'm just going to give you a little advice on. Rule number 7, draft backups to your starting running back, please. It's important. Now, it doesn't have to be for every one of your running backs, but for your top 2, maybe a good idea. Like, for instance, you get Javonte Williams from Denver. Get Shane Pirine. Shane? Is it Shane? Sean? Pirine. Anyway, get him. He's a freaking beast. Guy's awesome. Get that dude. Like, that's the kind of thing you want to do. Ramondre Stevenson. Get Ezekiel Elliott now. It's probably the smart thing to do. DeAndre Swift for Philadelphia. Go ahead and get Rashard Penny. There are a few other guys like that. I think I wrote down a few. Oh, you know what? Like a recent one. Shoot. Dalvin Cook with the Jets. That decreases Breece Hall's value. And that's a big thing going into this also. You got to look at running backs who are going to predominantly getting the ball instead of those who are going to be sharing it, and some of those who are going to be coming off injury or suspension, like Alvin Kamara, where Jamal Williams is going to get a lot of touches, probably near the goal line as well, but you can expect Kamara to do a lot between the 20s. So it gets kind of tricky. So a few guys that you want, and I did write this down because, look, shit, I'm 43 years old. I can't remember everything. Najee Harris, young, not a great year last year. He had a good rookie season. Expect him to get better. Joe Mixon, I'm not in love with. Don't get me wrong, but he's pretty much their guy. Nick Chubb, for sure. No more Kareem Hunt over there. Travis Etienne. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'm freaking high on Travis Etienne this year. Look, I would draft him probably in the second round, to be honest with you, but I don't have to because he's going in the third or the fourth. So I'm freaking cool, man. I mean, that guy's probably going to be on my team because people are going to sleep on him. I'm not. Travis Etienne, to me, is going to be a monster this year. He's their number one guy. Like Derrick Henry for the Titans. He's a little bit older, but still, he's their number one dude. Jonathan Taylor, we got a question mark right now with the Colts. We're not sure. Dameon Pierce, on Houston. CJ Stroud, their quarterback. They're not looking like they're going to have much of an offense right now, but he is their solo back. He did have a down year last year from the year prior. So don't go crazy and try to get him as your number one. That's for sure. If you can get him as a number 2, okay, that'll work out fine. Even prefer to have him as maybe as a flex option. Austin Eckler. Okay, that's my favorite dude in the draft. I'm just going to be straight up. I even called into that ESPN morning show that they got over there. They were talking about the biggest non-quarterback X factor in the league. And I'm talking Austin Eckler. People are starting to get much higher on him now than he was. His ranking is going up. I've been seeing a lot, and they did a couple of mock drafts that I've been checking out. He's been going, top 3, 4, and that's where I think he should go. I probably would take him first. I'd probably take him over McCaffrey. I really would, given his age. I'd take him over Jefferson. I'd take him over Jamar Chase. These are the guys who are going 1, 2, 3, 4 for the most part. I'm really loving Austin Eckler big time. That guy catches the ball. He runs the ball well. He does everything, and he's the number one dude. A few others, Josh Jacobs, we got a question mark on. Saquon Barkley, excuse me. I don't know. I got a Boston accent all of a sudden. Saquon Barkley for the Giants, no doubt. You want to take him high, and he's going sometimes in the second round, which is a little surprising to me. Maybe given his recent, injury history, obviously, but he had a big bounce back year last year. So I would definitely be paying attention to him. There's no question. Let's see. Also, a few other ones real quick. Tony Pollard for Dallas. He's the guy now with Zeke on. Rachaad White for Tampa Bay. He's another dude you probably want to look into, even though they're probably not going to have such a great offense. But even though they got Godwin and Evans. Baker Mayfield is their quarterback now. But let's see, maybe Rachaad White you want to link into for your RB2 possibly. McCaffrey, I mentioned before, getting a little bit older. And to close it out, James Conner. Don't love Arizona, but he's their dude. And Cam Akers for the Rams. Their offensive line is shaky, but Akers seems to be their guy right now. So you'd probably want to draft him. He's ranked somewhere in about like the 40s, 50s or something like that. But to have him as an RB2 is not a bad thing. So those are the 7 rules. Again, to repeat them for you, stock up on wide receivers and running backs, especially in the first 3 rounds and in those mid to late rounds as well. You want to get a lot of them. Look, don't rush to get the quarterback. I don't think that you need to rush to get a Patrick Mahomes this year or Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying they're going to have bad years at all. I think they're going to have great years, but I still think that you can get Justin Herbert later, or even Trevor Lawrence later, Dak Prescott later, and it's not going to be that big of a difference. And there again, you can stock up on the wide receivers and running backs. My third rule is try to get one of them top tier tight ends. I would not recommend getting Travis Kelce in the first round. I think that that's a waste. I think that you put yourself really behind the 8 ball over there against your opponents when you take a tight end number one, especially if you draft them early in like the top 5 or 6 picks. I don't really like that, and especially if you're in a 12 or 14 team league. But I would recommend trying to grab one by the latest 4th or really 5th round. But about 4th round, if you can get TJ Hawkinson, something like that, Mark Andrews, yeah, go for it. If not, wait on the David Njoku's. Darren Waller should be going a little bit later than that. Again, there's a few other guys. I mentioned Dalton Kincaid, who I do like a lot, who's a rookie coming in for Buffalo. Maybe not your starter, but somebody that you would probably want to draft because I think he will have an impact on that team. Keep it in mind. 4th rule is draft your kicker last because it's just the luck of the draw. There is no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't matter how accurate they are. It just matters how many opportunities they get. That's really it. And you cannot predict that. Just like you cannot predict how well a defense is going to play week in and week out. And you want to know what? A defense can pitch a shutout, but they can have no sacks, no interceptions, no fumble recoveries. They can just play a great game and pitch a shutout. And you know what? That ain't worth much in fantasy football unless you value that higher. But just let's say they let up 10 points and they don't have any of those other stats. It's garbage. But still a great real NFL defense performance. Doesn't matter. Anyway, rule number 6 is draft wide receivers whose defense is new, good, or, they find themselves in a lot of shootouts because, again, opportunities are a big thing in fantasy football. And rule number 7, draft backups to your starting running backs like Javonte Williams and Shane Pirine. Those are guys that you should get. Ramondre Stevenson, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall. Those are the guys that I'm really looking at that you should be, checking out for the most part. And again, there's plenty other ones in there. Even a DeAndre Swift and a Brashard Penny type of stuff like that. Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You just don't know who's going to get the majority, how much they're going to run. So again, you really want to get those running backs who are the predominant starters on their team. But if not, make sure you get the backup running backs for the most part, because again, guys get hurt. Guys just get hurt. All right. We have talked fantasy football, which is really what I wanted to get out for the most part to you guys today. But a few other things to go over real quick. I was wondering how you all are enjoying Hard Knocks. I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. It's really cool. You get to see the insides of it. Everybody's saying it's a different Aaron Rodgers. It's really the same Aaron Rodgers, but he's letting loose a little bit more. Obviously, you can see a lot of players are in awe of him. I'm really enjoying it, seeing the background of it. How Robert Saleh has been getting, the head coach of the Jets, has been getting after the offensive line. They seem really good all around, except for the offensive line right now. And that's where they've been drafting a lot of their players and getting a lot of their players like Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker, guys like that. And, Becton really hasn't worked out that much. And they're talking about getting David Bakhtiari right now. And I think even Aaron Rodgers put out some sort of like meme on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you call that thing. And was saying David Bakhtiari, protecting his backside, kind of thing like that, a little gesture or whatever. So I don't know, maybe the Jets are going to be in talks with Green Bay again. I mean, Green Bay giving the farm away to freaking New York, New Jersey Jets over there. But I've definitely been enjoying it. I've really been enjoying it a lot. The best teams in the league are usually teams that have very good to great quarterbacks, very good to great head coaches, and very good to great defenses. And offensive lines, I have to say that too, obviously, because to me, if you guys know me, the game is one of the trenches. So when you look at teams like that, of course, you think of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That's like the first that come to your mind, obviously. Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, you want to throw them in there. John Harbaugh, along with Lamar Jackson. Just examples like that. And teams that have good defenses. Those are the teams that you can kind of expect to be in the playoffs this year. We're going to talk more about that with Pat Williams on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just another thing I want to get out to you guys. You see me wearing my 49 I had over here. And to close things out, everybody's saying Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy. Look, man, I hope things work out with Brock Purdy. I freaking love it, but I'm not sold. I saw last year, and things were great. He had a lot of easy throws, a lot of in between the numbers. And you know what? He did it well. I am not taking anything away from him. But am I sold on this guy coming in here and running the show for 17 games plus, hopefully? No, I'm not. I hope it happens, but I'm really not. And I got to tell you, what I think now is that Sam Darnold at some point is going to end up the starting quarterback to end out the season, whether it be through injury, God forbid, nobody wants that, knock on wood. But I think that he's going to beat out the other guys. And I think that he'll have a better understanding and more comfortability in the offense. I think that Brock Purdy, God, I hope I'm wrong. I think that he may have been a flash in the pan last year. I don't know. I just don't know. There's a reason why he was the last pick in the draft. I mean, the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, as they call it. So given all that, guys, I'm really not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just not sold on Brock Purdy. I'm not saying that this is the dude over here. I don't necessarily imagine that it is. So again, given all that sort of stuff, just not 100% ready to go. The defense is solid. The offensive line is solid. We got McCaffrey. We got Elijah Mitchell. If he can stay healthy, that'd be great. Debo, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. We got guys, man, on the offense too. The defense we know is totally solid. It's about the quarterback. You just got to not turn the ball over and, play some solid football. That's pretty much all you got to do. If Brock Purdy can do that again, then, hey, shoot. We'll go straight back to the NFC Championship. I'd be happy to see Philadelphia over there, all right, and beat them this time when we're fully healthy. But as a 49er fan, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. And you know what? I picked Philly to go to the Super Bowl last year. So I'm pretty good with my damn predictions. But I don't think they're going this year. I got another team in mind, and I'm going to tell you what it is on Saturday. I'm going to give you my Super Bowl predictions. All right, along with Pat Williams, formerly of the Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings All-Pro, will be with me. All right, so again, we're going to be talking predictions, MVPs, divisions, playoffs, Super Bowl, the ins and outs, what we think of teams, who's going to improve, who's going to take a step back, all that great stuff. So join us this Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern in the afternoon. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Power 32 podcast. We out.